Hey y'all. Okay. I wanted to come on here and make this video about how I transitioned from doing work trades and volunteer opportunities around the world to like making Mexico my permanent residence for the past 3 years. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Grace. I'm gonna be sharing videos about my travel journey and all my natural living, how to heal yourself with nature, basically. That's my shit. But right now I'm talking about travel and specifically how I transitioned from doing work trades and stuff and volunteer opportunities to living permanently here in Mexico. So I made a video previously about how I started traveling abroad and how I live in Mexico, and most of that was about the volunteer stuff. So if you're interested in that, I highly encourage you to go look at that video. Sorry y'all, I'm in the middle of like folding my clothes, so if you see me looking all over the place, it's because I'm doing that. But yeah, I made a video about how I started traveling around, blah, 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 blah. You guys should probably check that video out if you're interested in doing work trades, and if you're interested in just like seeing different parts of the world for extended periods of time. That's a great video to look at. Okay, but originally I came here to Playa del Carmen in Mexico, and I was doing a work trade opportunity. I found on Workaway, or actually the host found me, but still, I put my profile on Workaway, somebody found me, and they were like, hey, we want you to come do this work trade with us. The work trade at the time was to cook for a family for like 2 hours. I just had to make them lunch and sometimes prepare them food for like the next day, and teach dance classes to their daughter because they just wanted her to do dance, and they knew that they saw on my profile that I like to dance. So super awesome. I got to only work, I think I was only working for maybe 3 hours a day in exchange for free accommodation. So I got accommodation at a separate location in an apartment with a roommate, and I didn't even have to stay with the family. I got to stay with the roommate, which was really cool. The apartment was super nice, and I got to stay there for 6 months. Originally the term was for 3 months, but they ended up extending it, so I stayed for 3 months, 3 months more, and I stayed for 6 months. And in those last few months of staying there and doing that work trade is when I decided, like, hey, I think I want to live here. Like, I want to live here in Playa del Carmen. I love it here. And I was making lots of friends, and it was just like, I could see myself living here. And so I started doing my research on Facebook Marketplace. Like, as simple as Facebook Marketplace, I found a place. I did some, like, and my research wasn't even that extensive. I literally would just, like, apartments for rent in this area, whatever. And, like, I found an apartment. And it was a great price. I think I paid $550 a month for a studio apartment with a full kitchen, and it was newly renovated. Like, it was a beautiful kitchen. It was a beautiful place, and I lived walking distance from the beach as well. On one of like the main strips, on like the tourist part of this area in Mexico that I live. So really, really beautiful. Like, really, really a great deal, honestly. And there's places that are so much cheaper than that here too, but I just liked living in that gated area and like living near the beach and stuff like that. So, you know, I paid a little more for those privileges. But when I'm saying that, like, I paid a little more, like, where in the US can you get $550 rent? Unless you've got multiple roommates. I had no roommates. I was living by myself. Like, yeah. So, yes. Also, the process of moving in, they didn't need any background checks, credit checks, pay stubs, none of that stuff. I literally just had to pay a deposit, and then I moved in on the move-in date. The deposit was a month's rent up front, so I paid that deposit and then just moved in. It was super simple, and honestly, that's been my experience every time I've moved here in Playa. It's like, as long as you can pay the deposit, then you can move in. You don't really have to like prove anything to anyone. Like, just have the money. Mexico is very much, if you have the money, you can do what you want to do. So yeah, that's what I love about Mexico. I haven't gone through the process of residency. I've mostly just been hanging out off of the tourist visa, which is fine as long as you leave within your 6 months. You can come back in and get another tourist visa for another 180 days as an American or Canadian citizen. So I've done that. I haven't yet done the residency. I'm not sure if I will. Oh, it smells so good. I don't know if I will, but yeah, but I've been able to stay here for that. With that being said, the cost of living is like so much cheaper than in the US. I think maybe my bills, like the amount that I spend here is like in half to what I was spending in the US. I don't have a car anymore. I live in a really walkable city. So after I sold my car, like, I don't need a car. I mostly get around by walking or by taking a taxi. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get around here without a car, and this city is really set up so that you can walk everywhere you need to go. Like, grocery stores up the street, pharmacies up the street, laundries up the street. Like I don't need too much. So yeah, there's that. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so because the cost of living is so cheap, I moved here without a job, which I know is probably like, what? Why would you do that? I don't know. But I was able to leverage my skills and my interest and like just sell the things that I had. I already had a massage therapy business in the US, and I kind of just transitioned from doing massages in the US to doing massages here in Playa. When COVID lifted and all that stuff was fine, I was able to like offer my massage services to the community here by leveraging the Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, and expat groups, Black women groups, yoga groups, whatever. I joined every group I could on social media and WhatsApp, and I started selling my skills there, as well as serving raw food. I like selling food, so I sold some raw food, and I did yoga classes. Literally whatever I was interested in, I started sharing on there. I also was really grateful and privileged enough to work with my mom. My mom has a business of her own, and I manage her social media accounts, so that also brought me in some income. And doing that kind of work also kind of opened my mind to doing more online work. So now I'm working as a virtual assistant, and I do stuff like that online as well, offering skills like social media management, editing photos, managing Facebook groups, stuff like that. I can do online, and I've leveraged, and I didn't have to like go to school for those skills. These are just skills that I've learned on my own. Even like making reels and stuff for small businesses, like I do that. You can put stuff on like that on Fiverr. I didn't do it on Fiverr yet, but like I've been able to leverage my skills to sustain my life here. I don't have a super high social media following. I don't make passive income online by selling my course. I'm not a travel influencer, like none of that stuff, but just being myself I've been able to leverage my skills and my interest to make a living over here. And so yeah, I've also been able to travel outside of here. So like I've gone to Costa Rica, to Brazil, to Guatemala, to Hawaii a bunch of times. Like honestly, I've been really, really blessed to be able to travel outside of my home base here in Mexico. And because the cost of living is so inexpensive in comparison to the cost of living in the US, it's made it so that I can kind of supplement what I was paying for my car and stuff like that for like flight to Costa Rica. Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that, I think has been made so much more accessible to me because the cost of living here is so cheap in comparison to the US. I will say that. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, that's how I done it. There's so many other ways to do it. You guys can get remote jobs. Like literally there's ways to get remote jobs. You can start doing affiliate marketing or this and that, whatever. There's so many other ways to do it, but this is just how I did it and how I made that transition just kind of off the fly, because I didn't really know that I wanted to live in Mexico before I came here. I was just going for the opportunity to travel and to see another place. And after that I was like, okay, I want to live here. And I started like digging within myself, like what do I really have? What skills do I have? What interests do I have? And how can I start to like make money off of those skills and make a life off of it. And not only did I make money from doing that, I've also built a lot of friendships and relationships that have also like been a huge support in transitioning to living abroad. There's so many people that I met because I did massage for them, or I was making raw food and they're like, oh, you make raw food? I love, health stuff like that. So like meeting people that are into things that I'm into, even like there's like Spanish classes and salsa dancing. Like there's just so much stuff to do to get involved in, and I would just like, if you are someone that wants to transition to living abroad, especially living in Mexico, I would definitely leverage going out to leverage your interest. What am I trying to say? Blah, 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 blah. My mouth is getting tongue tied at this point, but like just leverage your interest and skills and it will work out. Like literally it works out. If it worked out for me, I'm sure it can work out for you. And yeah, I'm just sharing my own experience to show you guys that there literally is so many ways to do it. Like I know that there's a lot of people online talking about this is how you move abroad, this is how you get the digital nomad visa, like become a digital nomad, like all of that. Like, okay, I guess I'm kind of a digital nomad, but literally I'm just a regular girl, and I started leveraging my skills, my in-person skills at that. And yeah, that's my story. That's how I've done it. This is how I'm doing it. I'm gonna get back to folding my clothes because I gotta finish doing that, and I'm gonna go get some food. But I hope you guys have an amazing day. Yeah, and let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions, anything you want to like share, ask, like please let me know in the comments down below. Love y'all, have a great day.